Right, what's up YouTube? It's now February, and just a quick-ish video. There hasn't really been many pickups or collection additions. Throughout January I've been more playing games and browsing. Like, I have had a few extra things added. Like, I went to a charity shop and I found this Terminator DVD with Terminator 1 and 2. I thought I'd get that. Dusk Till Dawn trilogy, which I didn't know there was a 2 and 3. I just know of the first one. And I got this one, Hey Arnold. I got this off eBay, British Heart Foundation auction, and I got this really cheap. I was like really pleased to get that. And then in a charity shop next door to that one, I managed to get these two Call of Duties for the Wii. I do want to get all the Call of Duties on the Wii just to see how they play. So I know this one's different to the Xbox 360, and I'm not sure this one's the same or not. So that's pretty much it for pickups. I have been to CEX in January a couple times, and it's all been a bust. Like there was an influx of GameCube games. All of them were no manuals. Someone must have brought in a whole load of GameCube and just maybe sold the manuals separately. I don't know, but it was pretty much a bust, a waste of time. So yeah, this is another video, a requested video that I got a while back, requesting a closer look at my PlayStation 1 stuff. YouTuber fifth gen Journey, you might know him. He's like really focused on PS1. So this is my PS2. He wanted to see a closer look at what I've got on PS1. So let's start from this side, and I'll try and focus so you can see what I've got. All of my PS1 is all specific. There's no trash here. It's all killer. Like, it's all like good stuff. Like, it's got reason to be here. So we'll start here with Resident Evil 2, which I've never finished. I've never beat Resident Evil 2, and I've never finished Resident Evil 1 on the PS1. But I have played the GameCube version on the GameCube, which I did a playthrough of, and I've played Resident Evil 4. They're the only two Resident Evils I've played and finished. So that's sort of like a confession there, and I do want to like go back and try them and maybe do them on retro achievements, because I was told that the PS1 version is actually easier than the GameCube. So that's that. We've got Crash Team Racing, which again I remember back in the day I rented this one a couple times, and I never played it again until it got the remaster on PS4 or that era, Nitro Fueled, and I played it on the Nintendo Switch. I did a live stream of that. We've got Bugs Bunny and Taz, which I haven't played, but I do know it's a good game, and it's sort of like to pair off with the other Bugs Bunny game. So that's the reason I've got that. Again, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, a classic staple for the PS1. And I think I've got a playthrough of that on this channel. A Bug's Life, I remember renting that once or twice. Disney's action featuring Hercules. I haven't beat this game, but I do remember playing this one on a demo disc. I think it was one of the early demo discs. Not demo 1, but it was another demo disc that came with the PlayStation magazine. I remember playing that. This one's a really difficult game. Even the one level on the demo was rather tricky. Again, Dino Crisis, a staple for the PS1, which pairs with like a Resident Evil. Tekken 2, which I played a bit of as a kid. I never really got into fighting games. I could never get the moves. I always found that the moves had a lot of buttons to press just to do one move. But yeah, that's a PlayStation staple. And we've got a hidden gem here, Disney's The Emperor's New Groove, which I've got that because I remember going to see the film at the cinema as a kid. I remember my dad taking me to see that. And Tekken 3 again. It goes with the Tekken 2. I played Tekken 3 a little bit. Again, I couldn't really get on with it. Next, got 40 Winks. Rented this one a couple times. Most of these I rented them. Like some of them I owned, but most of them I've either rented or I experienced them somewhere, maybe at a friend's house. So yeah, 40 Winks. I beat this one for the first time on I think I live streamed it. I used to rent this one a couple times, but I could never get all the way through it within like the 2 nights that you rent it for. And again, next one, Crash Bash goes with the Crash Bandicoot games. I haven't played Crash Bash, but I've got this one here just to go with the Crash Bandicoot series. And next, Spot Goes to Hollywood, which I know this game mostly from the Sega Saturn. When I had a Sega Saturn as a kid, I had this Saturn version, and I've got a lot of ties to this one. I've got it here as well. I do want to try and find a more mintier one. This one's in nice condition, but I want like a pristine one. So yeah, back to this one. This one's like a hidden gem, I'd say, on the PS1 and Saturn. It's like an isometric platformer. Most people probably remember it on the Mega Drive, but I know it from the Saturn. And I remember calling when I was a kid, I called the hotline, the phone hotline, to get tips of how to beat this game, because there was a level where you had to find 5 stars and I couldn't find them. And they replied to me. Instead of giving me the tips I needed, they just sent me a piece of paper with a load of cheat codes on it, and it was all for the PS1, and there was only one cheat code for the Sega Saturn, and it was a level select, so it was pretty much useless to me. So that's that. We got Gex, which I think I rented. I rented this first on the Sega Saturn. This is when I got my Sega Saturn for Christmas, the year I got it. I can't remember. I think it was like 97, 98 that I got the Sega Saturn. So I got the Sega Saturn pretty late in its life, or maybe in the middle, sort of. I don't know when it came out. So yeah, I played this first on the Sega Saturn, but I've got it on the PS. Well, I've got it on the PS1 because it goes with another Gex game that I'm after, and I do want to get the Sega Saturn version of this. So I don't know if anyone would trade it, or if anyone's got a Saturn version to trade for a PS1. And then next, got a Bubsy 3D. Now this gets bashed as a really terrible game, but I remember a friend of mine back in primary school had this, and we quite enjoyed it. I didn't think it was bad at all, but going back to it late, like in today, you could probably see its flaws, but for what it is, it's an very early 3D game. So for at present time, like what, mid 90s, it's not a bad attempt really. Then you've got Grand Theft Auto 1, which I've never really played much. Like back in the day, you just mess around, like put the cheats to get all the weapons and just roam around, bird's eye view, and just messing around really. And then Rayman, you could probably hear the music in the background. I'm currently playing through this on the retro achievements. I'm about maybe halfway through the game. And after this video, I'm gonna get back to it. And then we've got Smackdown 2. Again, I got this the year that it come out, on the Christmas, and I think on the Christmas I got a PS1, the slim PS1, the smaller one, because I had a PS1 maybe 2 or 3 times. I had one, and then I foolishly sold it, and then the next time I got a PS1, it was the smaller one. And I remember having this with it at Christmas time. And next we've got Cooler World, which is like a marble maze game, which I played on a demo disc, which most people probably remember this from a demo disc. It might have been demo 1, I don't know. And there's another game I want to get on the PS1 that's similar to this, like a puzzle sort of game, that Karushi World, I think it's called, Karushi Final or something. And next, Medieval. which I've never completed. But I have played like the first couple of levels. But I think when I played this back in the day, though, when it was new, it was maybe I was a bit too young to play. It was a bit more tricky to play. But yeah, I do want to go back and try and beat this game. And next, Glover, which is it looks a nice game. It looks pretty. But this one's quite a tricky game to beat, which I've never beat. I've played about maybe like a quarter or half the game, but I've never actually beat this one. And next we've got these two Frogger games, which I got, which is I played a Frogger game on the PS2, and I think this plays similar to it, where it's not a Frogger where you just go from the bottom of the screen to the top. It's more like this plays similar to Cooler World, where it's like the way you turn on the movement on blocks. And instead of moving a marble, you're moving Frogger. I think that's what these are. I haven't actually looked into them. And next one, we've got Exhumed, which plays like Doom, but with an Egyptian theme. And I remember a kid when I was younger, where he lived, there was someone that lived a couple doors away from him. He was like a bit older than us, and he was playing his PlayStation one day, and he invited us in because he was like a friend of a friend sort of thing. And he was playing this game, and I was quite intrigued by it, and I was like interested. And then as I got into collecting, I wanted to get this one back and try it. So next we've got Wacky Races. I remember renting this one a couple of times, and this one's quite a difficult one to play as well. Now some of the later races, and then Crash Bandicoot 2, Cortex Strikes Back. Out of the trilogy of Crash, I think I prefer this one. This is probably the best one, gameplay wise, but my favourite would have to be the first one. And next, Crash Bandicoot 3, Warped. And early this year, early January, I mastered this on the retro achievements. I got all of those platinum relics. So if you look in my community post, you see a post of me, all the achievements done. And looking on the camera, it looks a bit like the inlay's a bit, I don't know. If you look at it from a certain angle, you can see it, but from head on, you can't. So next, Bugs Bunny Lost in Time. Again, it pairs with the Bugs Bunny and Taz, but I think this one came out first. And I think I rented that once or twice as a kid. Again, with Rugrats Search for Reptar, I rented it, which is a good game as well. Scars, I think, is like a hidden gem on the PS1. I don't hear many people talk about this game, but I remember playing this one to death. I think I rented it at the time when PS1 was present, and I also got it, I bought it pre-owned when it was cheap, like when PS1 was on its way out and you can get really cheap games from like Game Station or Electronic Boutiques. I think it was Game Station. I remember getting it, and I played it a lot. I played through the whole lot where you unlock the cars, played mirror mode or reverse, or I pretty much did everything. And next, Kingsley's Adventure. I remember a friend having this, and this is like a nice action adventure game. And next we've got Pac-Man World, which is like a platformer, which is pretty good. And they remastered this one like a couple of years ago, and they've also remastered the second one, and I do want to get those. And next, Resident Evil 1, which is at the time I was a bit too young to play these sort of games. Like when Resident Evil 1 first came out, I was like quite young, so I wasn't really into these sort of games. As you can see, my taste is more like kiddie games, like baby platforming games. But I was a child at the time, so that's why they appealed to me. So coming back to these sort of games, yeah. Resident Evil. I do want to come back and finish this one. And next, Heart of Darkness, which I rented once or twice, and it's quite a difficult game. A lot of frame perfect or quick reflex moves to do. And it came with 3D glasses, and I've still got the 3D glasses in there, and they're still intact, unteared. It's still got the cardboard attached to it. And next we've got Roscoe McQueen. And back in the day when I was younger, my nan's friend had a PlayStation, and he had this game. I remember when I used to go around there, I used to say, "Oh, can I play the PlayStation?" and see what games he got. He would go back and forth to somewhere and get like pre-owned games somewhere in Basildon. I think it was called Cashmart, or like Cash Converters, but another name. And I remember he had this. It's like an action platformy puzzle game where you play as like a firefighter. And I remember playing it. It was different at the time. I never played anything like it. And next we've got Toy Story 2, the Buzz Lightyear game, which is like a 3D platformer Toy Story game, which is pretty good. And I do want to get it on the Dreamcast, because apparently that's the better version. And next we've got a big one here. We've got Mega Man X3, and this is in a quite good condition. And I got this one to sort of like heal myself or get over losing or getting rid of my Super Nintendo version, which is like a holy grail now. Like, I'll never ever get that back. Like, that was probably a big mistake, regret selling that. When I was selling my stuff, I should have just kept that one, because I sold it. I got a good price for it at the time, but now if I sold it today, I'll get way more. So that's Mega Man X3. I've only played that briefly, a little bit. And next we've got Pandemonium, which is like a 2.5D platformer, which is back in the day my friend had this one, and yeah, pretty good. So it plays similar to Klonoa, which is similar, like that sort of like 2.5D bending platformer, but a bit more faster pace. Again, next Overboard, which is like a puzzle game, like moving pirate ships. Don't know how to describe it. I remember playing this on a demo disc, and then getting into collecting. I wanted to get the full game. And next, Ghost in the Shell, another sort of expensive game. Now I think it's like £200 now, maybe more. And I remember playing this one on a demo disc as well. It's like sort of like a mech game, like mech shooter, where you sort of like strafing, and was it strafing, where you sort of like move around in this little mech shooter. And Toonby 2, another big one, which is I prefer the first one. I remember renting this one a couple times back in the day, and again I couldn't finish it. I never finished it, and I've never finished the first one either, which is on my bucket list. I need to, before I pass away, I'd like to see the full game. And next we've got Rayman 1 again, which is a variation. I think I got the black label, and then I got the full art one, where it hasn't got the PlayStation bar on it. And next, Croc, Legend of the Gobos. I've got 2 copies of this. One's in my zip up folder, which is in my top 5 games. Yeah, what can I say about that? Back in the day, I think my nan's friend had this, and a school friend had Croc, so I had two places to play it, and I've beat that game so many times. And next, Skull Monkeys, which is sort of another hidden gem or something. I think I played this. I bought it pre-owned, like cheap, maybe from like Game Station or something, and played it. I've never finished it, because I know that I'm assuming it's the last set of levels, where there's a lot of difficult platforming. I remember these platforms sort of like had a timer where you had to jump to the next platform, and it was all like timed. I don't remember it. It's really hazy memories, but I do want to go back and play that. Next, Disney's Tarzan, a solid Disney platformer, 3D, which is pretty good. Which apparently it's better on the N64, but I only know it from the PS1. I did have the N64 version, but again, I don't have it anymore. So now we're going up to the next level. We have another copy of Crash Bandicoot 2, which is that's the correct version. They released it twice. One was in like a smaller box, and I think the one back here is in the the larger box, and in this one is they released it in like the smaller case. They did the same, I think, with Tekken 2 as well. They did it with a few games. I remember, I think Siphon Filter 2 had a similar thing where it was like a different sort of slimlined box. And next we've got the slew of Final Fantasies. I still need to get the Origins one, which is, I don't know, if I cross paths with it and I'm in the mood to buy it, I'll get it. But the last time I tried to buy it from Basildon CEX, one of the discs was really nice, but the other one was scratched to hell. It was really bad. I thought, no one's going to buy that. So we've got Final Fantasy Anthology 6, 7, 8 and 9, which I've only, to tell the truth, I've only ever played briefly Final Fantasy 8. I played the first disc only, and that's it. But I do want to go back and try these Final Fantasies and see what the hype is about. I know there's a lot of nostalgia or hype around number 7 being like a childhood favourite of many people. So that's that. And next we've got Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which I rented a couple times. And again, I couldn't really get on with fighting games. I could never figure out how to get the fatalities and do all of the moves. And I learned recently that the reason I couldn't learn all the moves was because the moves that the fatalities or the moves that you want to learn are in the instruction manual. And when you rent a game from Blockbusters or wherever, they don't give you the manual, so you're sort of shit out of luck there. And then the next one, we've got Tomb Raider 1, Black Label, Tomb Raider 2, which I recently, a couple of days ago, I mastered on the retro achievements, which I'm very, very proud of for that. So these are like two favourites of mine, Tomb Raiders. And then there's Tomb Raider 3, which I've never beat. I've only ever played the first maybe 2 or 3 levels. I remember renting it once or twice, and yeah, this out of all of them, this is probably like one of the harder ones. And the same with the Last Revelation. I remember having this one back in the day when it came out, and I bought a PlayStation magazine, and there was a strategy guide to this game, but the problem was the guide was from the second half of the game, and the first half of the strategy guide, I'm assuming, was in a previous issue, like the magazine, the month or whatever before. So I couldn't get hold of that. I'd like to know what magazine that was. I'd like to get that back and have a look at it. And then next to that, we've got Crash Bandicoot 1, which is the big box, and I've got it in this sort of like protective box, this sort of baggie, just to sort of protect this sticker. I don't like shifting things around, like maybe trying to preserve the sticker on the front, just to know it's in its original case. So yeah, that's the proud PS1 shelf, and there is some extras that I'd like to add to this collection. Not too many, maybe about another 10 or so. So if we swing round here, we've got some more PS1 games, but they're ones I don't really have much connection to. But they're sort of there anyway. So that's these ones here. There might be a couple in here that I remember, or maybe played. Casper, I remember playing that, but I think I played it on the Sega Saturn. I rented it on the Sega Saturn. You've got GTA 2, Hogs of War, Director's Cut, Resident Evil, which I need to get. I need to get another copy of that, because as you can see, the spine inlay is a bit wrinkled. And we've got another expensive one there: Jackie Chan, Stuntmaster, Blade, Parasite Eve 2, Hot Wheels, Grand Theft Auto, which is like a collector's edition with like a sound. I think it's got like a soundtrack disc with it, and you've got some of the demo discs there. And Project Overkill, Death Trap Dungeon, Quake 2, South Park, which I think I rented South Park, and I didn't really like it. It was a bit rubbish, like throwing snowballs at turkeys. And there was Cheesy, which is a platforming game, which is I thought it would be good, but playing it myself is a bit clunky. And you've got Rascal, I think a friend of mine had that. Disney's Quack Attack, Tommy Mannequin Rally, Parappa the Rapper, which I think I played the demo disc of that, or played a demo of it. Couldn't really get on with it. Jersey Devil, I think a friend of mine had that, and that was rubbish. Like, really awkward controls. And Guardians Crusade, which is sort of like a RPG. Now, if I spin you around again, to probably my holy grail. No. Let's skip that. Let's go to this case here. This has got my top five PS1. Let's start here. We've got Ape Escape, which I rented that and fell in love with this game. I love Ape Escape. Croc Legend of the Go-Go's. In fact, Ape Escape molded my taste in music. It made me like drum and bass, because this has got a lot of drum and bassy sort of music to it. You got Spyro the Dragon. Now, when I got my first PS1, that's what I had with it. And then Crash Bandicoot. And there's Toonby 1, which back in the day I rented a couple times, and I've never beat it. And then lastly there, another Grail, Klonoa. And they're in these bags just to preserve it, because there's a sticker on the front advertising, I think, Point Blank. I sort of like try and preserve the sticker. So that's my top 5 PS1, and I do want to get them in box protectors and maybe put them on display, but until then they're just going to stay in here. Like for each of them I want to get one of those hard acrylic box protectors, like those thicker ones, not the flimsy plastic ones, like the proper solid ones. And then once that's done, I can probably put them on display, like put them above here, swap these out for them. But spinning round, let's take you to my holy grail PS1 item, which I got really cheap. I got this maybe 2015 sort of time, where I wasn't really active on YouTube, like doing pickups or doing it pretty much anything really. I think I was pretty much I was still collecting, but I was more into like getting into streaming, like doing like playthroughs. And I remember getting this, and this is rocketed in value. I think I paid like maybe like £90 to £100 for it. Like maybe back in, I can't remember when I got it, but it was a long time ago. And that's this here. This Ape Escape bundle, which comes with the Emerald controller. And there's one on eBay right now, and the seller wants £800 for it. But the last one that sold for like £400. But my one's not for sale. I'm going to keep this one. Mine's in really nice condition as well. I noticed that on the inlay it's like sort of dipping a bit, but I don't really want to open it up to try and fix that. I'd rather just leave it as it is, because it's still a nice piece. So yeah, that's my probably the cream of the crop at the top PS1 item. So let's end the video. We're nearly touching 30 minutes now. So there's like a zoom, because when I've done that video I've sort of just panned over and you couldn't really see the titles. So yeah, I'm gonna shut the video off there. I'm gonna jump into Rayman, see if I can make any progress. So yeah, peace.